All right, listeners, ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling DAX in Microsoft Excel.
No.
Specifically, a function called PATHITEMREVERSE.
Sounds a little intimidating.
It does sound kind of intimidating, right? But don't worry, we're going to break it down, and I think you'll find it's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We've got some documentation from Microsoft on this function.
Okay.
And we're ready to kind of unpack what it all means.
Awesome. I'm excited.
So before we jump into PATHITEMREVERSE,
Yeah.
can you give us a little bit of background on DAX itself? Like, what is it for people who might not be familiar?
Yeah, absolutely. So DAX stands for Data Analysis Expressions.
Okay.
And it's basically this really powerful language that you can use in Excel for data analysis and manipulation.
Okay.
So it's like this whole set of tools specifically designed to work with complex data sets.
Got it. So it's like going beyond just basic spreadsheets.
Exactly.
Like you've got this whole other layer of functionality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Specifically for...
Before we get into PATHITEMREVERSE,
Yeah.
you mentioned hierarchies, which are kind of a key part of this.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about what hierarchies are and how the path function kind of plays into that?
Sure. So imagine you've got like an organizational chart at a company.
Okay.
Right? You've got the CEO at the top,
Yep.
then you've got like managers and then employees under them. That's a hierarchy,
Okay.
right? And in DAX, there's this function called path
Right.
that lets you create a text string that represents that hierarchy.
So it's like a map of
Yep.
how things are connected.
Exactly, like breadcrumbs through the data.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So path kind of lays the groundwork.
Right.
And then PATHITEMREVERSE comes in and says, okay, now let's do something cool with that.
Okay. So tell me about PATHITEMREVERSE.
Okay, so PATHITEMREVERSE takes that hierarchical path that you created with the path function,
Okay.
and it lets you extract specific elements from it. But here's the twist. It does it in reverse order.
Reverse order. Why reverse order?
I know, right? It sounds a little weird at first.
Yeah.
But think about it this way. Let's say you have that organizational chart again.
Okay.
You want to know who's the manager directly above a certain employee. PATHITEMREVERSE lets you kind of work your way back up the chart.
I see. So it's like starting at the end and going backwards.
Exactly.
Okay. That's starting to make more sense.
Yeah, and it's especially useful when you have like really complex hierarchies
Okay.
where just like reversing the text string wouldn't be enough.
Got it. So it gives you more control.
Precisely.
Yeah. Okay. So let's break down the actual syntax of PATHITEMREVERSE.
Right.
Like, how do you use it in a formula?
Okay, so you start with the function name, obviously, PATHITEMREVERSE, and then you have two main arguments.
Okay.
The first one is path,
Right.
which is that text string you created with the path function.
Got it.
And the second one is position, and that's the specific element you want to extract from the path.
So like if I want the third item in the hierarchy.
Yeah, you'd put 3 for the position.
Okay. But remember, it's counting backwards.
Oh, right.
So 3 would actually give you the third to last item.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. So it's a little tricky, but I think I'm getting it.
It just takes a little getting used to.
Okay. And you mentioned there was an optional third argument,
Yeah.
type P.
What's that do?
So that lets you specify whether you want the result as text
Okay.
or a number.
Right.
If you leave it blank, it defaults to text.
Got it. Okay. So let's go back to that organizational chart example for a second.
Okay.
How would we actually use PATHITEMREVERSE to find someone's manager?
Okay, so let's say your path function created a string like this. CEO, VP of marketing, marketing manager, marketing assistant,
Okay.
right? That's your hierarchy.
Yep. And let's say you want to find the manager of the marketing assistant. You would use PATHITEMREVERSE
Okay.
with that string as the path argument. Right.
And then you would put 2 as the position argument.
Because you want the second to last person in the chain.
Exactly.
Okay, and that would give you marketing manager.
Boom.
You got it. Cool. Okay, I'm starting to see how powerful this function can be.
Yeah. And that's just one example.
Right.
You could use it for all sorts of things.
Okay, like what?
Well, think about like a product catalog.
Okay.
You could use PATHITEMREVERSE to find the parent category of a product.
That's a good one.
Or like in project management, you could use it to track the different stages of a project.
Yeah, I can see that.
The possibilities are pretty endless.
Okay, so key takeaways here. PATHITEMREVERSE. It's all about working backwards through a hierarchy.
Yep.
The position argument counts from the end of the path.
Right.
And don't forget that optional type argument if you need a number instead of text.
Exactly.
All right, so now that we've got a good understanding of PATHITEMREVERSE,
Yeah.
can you leave our listeners with a little challenge?
Something to get them thinking about how they might use this function in their own work.
Okay, here's the challenge. Imagine you're analyzing website traffic data.
Okay.
You have a data set that shows the path each user takes through your website, like what pages they visit,
Right.
in what order. Use PATHITEMREVERSE to find the second to last page each user visited before making a purchase.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it'll really get you thinking about how to use this function creatively.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up this deep dive on PATHITEMREVERSE.
Yeah.
It's a super useful DAX function that can really help you unlock insights in your data.
Exactly.
So thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure.
And thanks to all of you for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See ya. Bye. Bye.